everybody, this is the Pop Music Freak back with another Song Facts Countdown video. I am up to number 921 on my top 1,000 list of my favorite songs of all time. It is another comeback story group that was very, very strong in the early 70s. Big part of the classic rock radio scene afterwards, even though they stopped having hits. Then in 1983, they were resurrected and got things rolling again. A couple of new members to the band, but they just came out of the box with a huge, huge smash at the very end of 1983. Would go to number one on the charts, be their only number one hit. They would have a couple more hits after that, a couple more albums through the rest of the 80s, and then kind of faded out again. But they did enough to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I am talking about the British band Yes. Early in the 70s, like I mentioned, and then they had a few hits with Roundabout, a couple of radio hits, I've Seen All Good People, Long Distance Runaround, Your Move, those tunes. Then kind of faded out a bit. And then here they come at the end of 1983, song that would be number 921 on my list. The song is Owner of a Lonely Heart. I'm going to give you the song facts now on this classic rock song from the 80s. It was first track and the first single from their 11th studio album, 90125, and was released in October 1983. Written primarily by guitarist and singer Trevor Rabin, contributions were made to the final version by singer John Anderson, bassist Chris Squire, and producer Trevor Horn. Owner of a Lonely Heart was released in October of 1983. As the album's first single, it was a commercial success in the U.S., becoming the band's first and only single to reach number one on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and its Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks chart. In 1984, the song reached number 8 on the year-end charts in the U.S. The single was reissued various times through the 80s and 90s with different remix versions and B-sides. The song was originated in 1979 from South African musician, singer-songwriter, and producer Trevor Rabin. While going to the toilet, yes, while sitting on the toilet, he wrote the whole thing from beginning to end. Rabin then put down his ideas onto tape using his home equipment, which included a four-track tape machine. One of the recordings consisted of a main verse and chorus riff played on an acoustic guitar with some vocals. A developed version with drums, keyboards, and a complete set of lyrics was completed in 1980. Both recordings were released on Rabin's demo compilation album 90124 in 2003. For the full version, Rabin used the first and second tracks to record the instruments and vocals before mixing the song onto the third. He added, "You would be making decisions based on what was coming, and sometimes those decisions would be wrong, but you couldn't undo them. One of the things, a happy accident, was that all of the brass stabs and those weird things that happened on the record, they were just a product of what happened with the demo." After relocating to Los Angeles in 1981, Rabin added the song to his collection of demos that he wished to develop for a fourth solo album. Among the record labels that Rabin pitched his work to was Arista Records, but he recalled owner Clive Davis rejecting them on the basis of the song sounding too strange and would not be a hit, and suggesting that Rabin write stuff more like Foreigner and then come back. I never did. Rabin then landed a development deal with Geffen Records, who introduced Rabin to musicians with the intention of forming Asia. But Rabin declined due to the lack of chemistry and his preference for making a solo album. Rabin's deal with Geffen ended in 1982, but an offer from A&R man Ron Fair of RCA Records was the first time Rabin's songs were recognized as potential hits. Rabin said Fair called Owner of a Lonely Heart a game changer and offered him an album deal on the strength of it. However, Rabin turned it down when he agreed to form a new band with bassist Chris Squire and drummer Alan White of the progressive rock band Yes to make an album, initially under the name Cinema for Atco Records. Much of the new material derived from Rabin's demos, including Hold On and Changes, and displayed a more pop-oriented approach than what Yes had been known for. The group worked with former Yes singer Trevor Horn as their producer. So then, in January of 1983, most of the backing tracks and vocals for the Cinema album had been recorded, but an additional song was needed. While Rabin was on a toilet break, Horn left his demo tape running and heard his version of Owner of a Lonely Heart. He disliked Rabin's inclinations towards American rock in his songs and its verse lyrics, which he remembered as, "You don't want to go dancing, you won't even answer the phone, you're so scared of romancing, everything you do is alone." However, he recognized a powerful introduction with its snap jump cut into the main riff, plus its strong chorus hook as a hit single. The verses of it were so awful that I was convinced that if we didn't put loads of whiz, bangs, and gags all over the verse that no one would ever listen to it. Horn recalled pleading with the band to record it on the grounds that they needed a hit single, despite the group's reluctance. Subsequent musical and lyrical changes were then made by Horn and Squire, and for several days the group attempted to perform it. Horn was dissatisfied with the addition of various drum fills and superfluous sections, and suggested they record it straight and simple without changing the original riff. Rabin agreed to change his song this way, but wanted to keep the sound levels very loud, which Horn was totally into. It took Horn approximately 7 months to convince Rabin to rewrite the lyrics. Once Rabin agreed, several versions were produced, which included Horn's contribution of the verses, including "Move Yourself, You Always Live Your Life," which earned him 15% of the song's credit. For the song's opening, Rabin used the same guitar tone that he employed on a session he did for Man's Earth Band, which involved panning 2 guitar tracks left and right and aiming for a sound as heavy as possible. The arpeggiated guitar part of the verses, according to Horn, was played on a 12-string Rickenbacker, though that has been disputed. Chris Squire's bass guitar parts were played on his custom-built Electra MPC Outlaw, making use of 2 of its plug-in features, the octave box and the phaser. This is a whole lot of technical stuff, I know. After the band produced a satisfactory arrangement, Horn wished to incorporate a drum programmer, which White strongly objected to. At first, he played himself. Horn prevailed, resulting in Squire and himself programming a drum machine sequence for the song. He wanted a sound similar to Stewart Copeland on Synchronicity, and kind of incorporated this into the song's midsection drum break, which he played on Fairlight. Okay, so there's more technical stuff here. I don't want to bore everyone. We'll get to the point here in April '83 when Yes singer John Anderson joined the group, which resulted in Cinema changing their name and using Yes. Anderson recorded his vocals to the song while changing some of the musical and lyrical content. Horn remembered Anderson disliking the song's new lyrics and his comment, "Well, it's not like Send in the Clowns anyway." Consequently, Anderson rewrote Horn's lyrics for the second verse, including the line, "Watch it now, the eagle in the sky." As a cheeky line, Horn and Langdon added a gunshot sound effect immediately following the verse, thereby shooting down the eagle. Trevor Rabin had stated that Trevor Horn did not like some of Anderson's lyrics, and had Rabin redo the words sounding like Anderson. If you go back and listen to it, I'm sure you can find them. So the final song was complete. It was credited to Rabin, Anderson, Squire, and Horn. Rabin recently clarified his view on the breakdown of credit and royalties. "John did add to my lyrics in the verses and deserved what he got, as did Chris. One can hear my development of the song on 90124. Sound doesn't lie. Trevor Horn being allotted a percentage was a thank you for introducing me to the Synclavier, which is one of the keyboards I used on the song and had not used before. Also the fun we had making it. Horn has rated Owner of a Lonely Heart as one of the best tracks of his career." So, after all that, okay, here's a review from Cashbox on the song. Horn constructs an instrumental intro segment of discrete drum rolls, fuzz guitar, phrases, and scratched-in brass and synth flourishes, and then uses these and other elements to punctuate John Anderson's fluid depiction of the title subject, and that the song is built upon a steady dance beat which brings Yes solidly into the 80s. So that's that. What else we got? Legacy. The song has been covered by various artists since then, especially Max Graham, whose 2005 single reached number 9 in the UK. Frank Zappa adapted the primary riff of the song into a soloing vamp in live versions of his song Bamboozled by Love during his 1984-1988 tours, which can be heard on You Can't Do That on Stage Anymore, and the Frank Zappa AAAFNRAA birthday bundle. Never heard of that release. But anyway, so there you go. So the lineup of Yes at this point was formed pretty much due to who worked on the song: John Anderson, Trevor Rabin, Chris Squire, Alan White, and Tony Kaye on keyboards, and Trevor Horn, producer. So, in terms of chart success, seemed to do the best, hit number 1 here in the U.S. charts on the Billboard Hot 100. In the UK, it got to number 28, which is surprisingly low considering how much of a breakthrough this song was at the time. Cashbox hit number 1. On the U.S. dance charts, it got to number 3. It even hit the bottom of the soul chart and the bottom of the adult contemporary chart, which is odd. It hit number 1 anywhere else? No, but it hit number 2 in Canada, number 2 in the Netherlands, and let's see, anywhere else pretty high. Number 4 in France, number 4 in Sweden. Okay, now as I mentioned before, for the year-end chart on Billboard, it was ranked number 8 for 1984. And in Canada, it was ranked number 29 for the year. So that's about it. That's a lot of song facts. That's a lot of details on the production of the song. Maybe too much. But I hope you enjoyed this song fact countdown video. It's number 921. I hope you like it. I hope you share it. I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you hit the bell for notifications of more videos coming out. We have a link. I'll have a link to the music video in the description. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try and do a couple more today. So I wish you all a wonderful day, and peace and love.